everyone, back again to do some things to do with the 6 beliefs. So I'm going to be recapping some of the core beliefs on here, and we're going to be outlining why it is important to Muslims and some of the history behind it as well. Always got my trusty textbook here. Should I suddenly forget anything? I really hope I don't. But if I do, that might be what I'm glancing at. Okay, because obviously it's full of excellent gems of information. So all right, ready. So 6 beliefs of Sunni Islam. Today's learning objective is to explore the 6 beliefs of Sunni Islam. If you've not been taught by me, my Arabic is terrible, so please don't judge me too harshly. Okay, so we're going to all be able to describe the 6 beliefs of Islam, explain how they are understood and expressed in Sunni communities today, and then assess the importance of these principles for Muslims. So, first thing that we need to be able to do today is to understand that there are 2 different types of Islam. So in the same way in Christianity, there are lots of different denominations. So that could be Catholic, Anglican, Church of England, Baptist, Methodist, Pentecostal, any of those. Okay. In the same way, in Islam, there are 2 different denominations. So one of them is Sunni, one of them is Shia. There are 2 distinct differences between the 2. Sunni Muslims make up the majority of the religion, as 90% of people are Sunni, and around 10% are Shia. Over time, there has been lots of conflict between the 2, and more often than not, Shia Muslims are persecuted by Sunni Muslims, but that's not always the case. Sometimes the other way around. There's been conflict since, just after Prophet Muhammad died, around sort of like 660, 670 AD, so a long time. Okay, so Sunni Muslims, they believe that the next leader of Islam should have been elected. They wanted to elect somebody because they did not believe that Prophet Muhammad selected a successor to lead Islam forward. Shia Muslims said that that was not the case, that actually Ali was labelled the successor, and that has a little change in it later on, which we will discuss briefly. But in general, they believe that it should have followed a bloodline after he was appointed rather than an election. And that is really key to the understanding. There's a little clip there for you to be able to watch if you would like some more information. Okay, so obviously we can't be moving around the rooms. There is, we're all at home. However, we have got on here the 6 key beliefs that we're going to be doing, and you're going to be looking at to what extent does this belief have an impact on Muslim state? That is your AO2, that is your appraisal, the thing that takes you from 6 marks on a D question to a potential 12. And that is what I would love to see people using. It makes a massive difference to your grades and will be the thing that takes you to your target. You have, we are all going to talk about the belief. I'm going to tell you some of the Arabic. As I say, my accent is awful, so I'll try my best. And we're going to be describing the meanings, and then we will have a look at what effect it has on Muslims. Okay, so the first one is belief in Allah, also called Tawhid. He is Allah, the one, Allah the eternal and the absolute. There is only him, it says under the one, only. Okay, in Christianity, there is an idea of one God, but as we know, it is God in 3 persons. In Allah, that is not the case. He is just one. There is no equal. Okay, there is only him. It is just him. So please understand that Jesus and the Holy Spirit is a completely separate concept, just to Christianity, not to Islam. It has a big impact on Muslim status. It means it takes them into being a Muslim rather than being a Christian. Okay, it makes a big difference because if you do not believe in this and you put something else up against Allah and you say this is as good as Allah, that is called a shirk, and that is an unforgivable sin. The belief in Allah is one of the key things of the 5 pillars, and it is called the Shahada, which is the statement of faith that says we believe in one God, the only Allah, and his messenger, Prophet Muhammad. For Shia Muslims, they add onto it, and Ali is his friend. That's what they add. So that's a big difference for them using the statement of faith. But in general, it would just be the 2 parts. Okay. A belief in angels. This is called Malika. Okay, Muslims believe angels do the work of Allah. They do not have free will. They only do what they are told to do. And Adam, as in the first human, He is the one who guides them. He's known as the Khalifa, and he guides them. We'll do a whole separate lesson though on angels. They deliver revelations to the prophets so that Muslims know what Allah wants them to do. So Allah never directly communicates with humans. He communicates through the angels in some way or another. For example, Angel Jibril, he goes to visit the Prophet Muhammad, and he's the one who reveals the Quran to him. They record the words and actions of every individual. So Muslims believe that you have two angels, one on each shoulder, one called Kiraman and one called Katiban, and they record your deeds and they are given to Allah at the end of days, which we'll get to in a minute. As I say, angels have no free will. We only descend at your Lord's command is your quote. That is essential, okay, when you're talking about these. You need to know the quotations. It has an impact on beliefs of Muslims today because they believe they need to behave really, really, really well because all of their actions are being recorded. They also believe that it's important for them to have a very strong faith in Allah because they want to be connected with angels. They want to talk to them. They want to be revealed information. Okay, the holy books are called the Kutubullah. There is a collection of books, the Torah, Psalms, Gospels, Scrolls of Abraham, and the Quran. Okay, they are the main holy books. Nothing compares though to the Quran. That one is right at the top because it is Allah's word in its perfect form. There is no translation issues. There is no way that it's been misinterpreted. That is the word of Allah. That's really, really important. They believe that the Quran is the direct word of Allah given through the angel. As I said, the Prophet Muhammad was given the words of the Quran by the angel Jibril on something called the Night of Power or Laylat al-Qadr. We revealed the Torah with guidance and light. That's your quotation. It's really important because it impacts them because they believe in all three of the what's called the Abrahamic religions. And that is all of the religions starting with Abraham. So that is Judaism and Christianity. And that's important because it brings them together as a religion. And also it doesn't put them in conflict with them. So I think lots of people feel in the world that we live in that sort of Muslims are in conflict with Western beliefs, sort of being like Christian beliefs, really. That's not the case at all. They do respect, and it's very important. The Gospels are the stories of Jesus. The Psalms are the stories of David, and the Torah is the story of Abraham and Moses. So it's all very, very important that they believe in all of that. Okay, the prophets are messengers of Allah. So Allah chooses messengers to spread his words and guidance. They believe that there are more than 124,000 prophets. Muhammad was the last ever one. He spreads the perfect message. He never writes the message down. He recites the message. The Quran is called the Quran because it means recitation. It is told to them over a period of 23 years, and that is then written down. Muhammad is not the father of your men, but the messenger of Allah. So he's not the guide. He's not a guide for humans in the same way. He's actually there at the will of Allah. That's his purpose. It impacts them because they learn that it's because of the prophets that they have the messages and that they want to be like them. So they follow the examples of the prophets. The prophets are kind of like perfect humans. They're not godlike though. That's really important. They are a human being still. They still do make mistakes. They still do make errors. So it's important that you understand that they are still a human being to Muslims. Okay, Day of Judgment. This is called Qiyamah. And in Shia beliefs, it's called something slightly different. So there are two different names. Okay, they have different ways of translating it. Okay, so make sure that you are using Qiyamah when you are using Sunni and Mi'ad when you are using Shia. So please make sure if that's the case. And you should, you grade 9s out there, you should be using the Arabic, please. Okay, Day of Judgment. The same as in Christianity, there will be a day in which everybody is judged, and they are chosen to either go to Jannah or Jahannam. We'll be talking about the afterlife. That's called Akira at a later point. This is the day Muslims stand in front of Allah after they have died, and Allah decides based on how they have lived their lives if they will go to paradise or not. So that's where the angels, they come in very handy. and they are literally weighed. So if your deeds weigh heavy, that's not a good thing. Okay, that's a bad thing. Basically, you need to have deeds that weigh light, I think, from memory. Right. On that day, people will be separated. Okay, last one, the decree of Allah. I'm going to be doing this lesson probably in a minute for you. It is called Al-Qadar, and that means predestination. And this means that everybody has a path that they have been set on. This is a really important belief because it means that for Muslims today, they believe that Allah has decided what will happen to them. And they have their own free will. They can choose to not follow that path. But if they're led by the guidance of Allah, they will reach Jannah in the end. They do not believe that Allah has set out a horrible path for them. It might be difficult at times, there might be suffering, but in the end, it will all be okay. It's important as well because it maintains that they have a belief that Allah is omniscient, and this is that He knows everything. Okay, so we've gone through those as I've talked through them. Why are the 6 principles important for Muslims? So the 6 beliefs are mentioned in the Kitab al-Imam hadith. This is one of the hadiths that are the sayings of Prophet Muhammad, so it's separate to the Quran. This forms the foundation of Sunni faith and is compulsory to believe in this. By following the 6 beliefs, they feel they are on the right path and they will earn the reward, which is Jannah, and to live in paradise. As we can see below, Muslims will earn rewards in Akhirah and be judged at Mi'ad and go to Al-Jannah or Qiyamah. Living in this way will promote a peaceful and caring society. So if you're following the moral guidelines, you're not going to be a terrible person. It's kind of the aim to do with that. All of those in general, they all bring you back around to being a good person. The point is to have a good community, a community that calls for what is right. That's very important to Muslims. Okay, so we're going to go through the 5 routes at a different point, but ultimately they are in contrast in some ways. There are similarities. The main difference is the one that we spoke about at the beginning with who the next leader should be. But in general, they do have similar beliefs, yet there is still very distinct conflict. Okay, explain it 2 ways in which the belief in the 6 articles of faith influence Muslims in their lives today. So you need to say 1 way in which the 6 articles of faith influences Muslims in their lives today is by, and then maybe you could choose is because the belief in angels persuades them to be good as their deeds being recorded. This means that Muslims try to be a better human, so they are rewarded in paradise. Another way that they are influenced is, and then you do your second one, and then this means that would achieve you 4 marks. 4 sentences. Do not be writing loads. You do not need to use a source of wisdom in this because it does not tell you to. So please make sure that you're not spending loads and loads of time doing that because it's just going to be really, really difficult for you. You only have 4 minutes in the exam to complete that question. Okay. On the last page, you can use the BBC Bite Size. The revision on there is amazing, and you really should give that a go if you would like some extra knowledge. I do believe you've got all the textbook pages, so you should be using all of those as well to make sure you've got all of the parts of the quotations. The sources of wisdom are so useful, and you need to be using them. I would love to see you doing so throughout. Okay, guys, so I'm going to leave it there for now. I hope you're all doing really well, and I look forward to talking to you next time. Bye.